our continuing coverage of the Osun governorship election 2026. A quick update that 10 years ago, or more than 10 years ago, 2014 or thereabout, election in Osun State produced just about quite a significant number, 53 point something % of voters at the time came out to vote. The next election produced about 45 point something %. The next election after that one reduced to 42. The next election, 38% of voters turned out. With the numbers we are seeing and the reports we are getting, what kind of numbers are we going to get? Observers on the field already told us it's too early in the day to say what the numbers will be, but there is no doubt that there is huge encouragement that despite all of the, what's the word now, hula baloo.
Maybe it was the hula baloo that was the feel for
that. Come and do it for us, you know. So all of that, we're grateful that the turnout is there. So if you are still having doubts, please do not have any doubts anymore. Well, we should be getting to our correspondent Ballot shortly, but before we do that, Mr. John Oyedele is here with us in the studio. He is a legal practitioner. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, John Oyedele.
Beg your pardon, John.
I won't sue you for that.
No, you won't sue me. I won't sue you.
I don't think he too wants to do a change of name.
No need change of name.
Because I might have to represent him anyway, free of charge.
You will sue me and then you represent me. Thank you for joining us this morning. What's for you so far is can you say is the high point?
Well, so far it's like an anticlimax. We were expecting, the threats, intimidation. There was so much fear in the air, and one did not really expect this kind of turnout. And then secondly, people voting peacefully. But it's too early in the day to begin to jubilate, because we have had occasions. I'm not playing the devil's advocate here. We have had occasions when elections will go on freely, and then when it's time to begin to count and all that, these people will then rush in and start grabbing and running with the ballot boxes and ballot papers. So it's not yet uhuru, but I am happy with what I'm seeing. It gives me great joy to see that yes, indeed, Osun State is actually living up to the billing as the source of the Yoruba race, because they are standing up, they are coming out fearlessly to come and vote, and they are sitting down there to ensure that their votes count, and let's hope their votes will count.
Why are you not as optimistic as Mr. Don't answer that question. He has cautious optimism.
Well, the same, I said it's not yet, time for us to jubilate. Maybe by 6-7 p.m. Even after the counting, when the results will be announced, things happen in Nigeria. So we're a very peculiar people.
Well, it's also very gratifying. I know you wanted to have this question. We need to that question. It's good to know that you are ready. I see that you have an army to unleash on us right now. I see you have what you call juggernauts in election matters, right there with you, and you've been doing a lot. But I will ask you before you take it on. From what you have seen, what you know, there are those who are also saying that all of the noise we are seeing, all of the reports we have been getting from you and your team, they are like all from the urban centers in Osun State and not from the rural areas. You give us that response, but before then, let's show you this report about voter buying. details of where that is coming from, but if you do not understand Yoruba, let me give you an inkling. Some people there are alleging that voter buying is going on somewhere, and they are pointing to a particular area and mentioning a particular political party. I won't be the one to mention that political party, but it is right there on the screen. So Sheil, that's one of the issues that I'm pretty sure you want to bring up with your panel right there with you. We are already hearing allegations of voter buying along the line, but from generally, before you take on this voter buying one, the issue I raised earlier about the extent of influence or of voter turnout. There are those who are saying the noise we're having about large voter turnout is only in urban Osun and not even in the rural areas as well. Well, I don't know if you have thoughts on that before you go to your panel.
Thank you, Ayo, and it's good to have you guys. Joker, it's good to see you. It's been ages, isn't it? Look, Ayo, I'm one that is very cautious on an election day. To draw conclusion too early in terms of turnout, in terms of some of the attitude and the character of voters that we see on election day. A lot of things happen so swiftly, so fast, and in a space of 30-40 minutes, a lot of things can change. People can decide to think, oh, the weather is not good in my area, let me wait to a certain time. Some people will say, let me wait till 1 o'clock. The ballot or the vote ends at 2:30. There are a lot of thinking that could come in the head of people. But one thing I'm optimistic is that if you have 81.1% PVC collection rate in Osun State, I think that sort of enthusiasm that we saw should be able to be replicated in how people turn out to vote. So, except if the atmosphere surrounding when they collected the PVC and election day are totally different, that might give us a totally different result. But we saw almost 100% PVC collection, 95 or 93% in Ekiti. Well, did that amount to huge voter turnout? That is what we need to analyze and look closely to. And you know what? Why this is very important? It's important because this is going to be the very last election, off-cycle election, before the 2027 election.
Absolutely.
For INEC, for security agencies, for every one of us, is a litmus test.
Most certainly, sure. My apologies, just a second. We need to take a track from the governor. There's an allegation that has gone out. Let's hear the governor briefly on that one. I'm pretty sure you'll be interested in that as well.
There's one police officer that they brought to come and do an acted job, the APC Osun from Port Harcourt. His nickname London. He's here in Ede hiding. His own job is to come and destroy Ede and then avoid so that he can scare people, shooting so that they will not vote. So I'm calling the Inspector General of Police to take note. I'm calling all the security agencies to take note. They should redeploy him. We don't want him in Osun. We don't want violence in Osun. All we want is free and fair election so that people can perform their civic duty. That's one. And two, the pattern of voting should be from units to ward and to local government. Not that they will take local government connection straight to state capital. That is not acceptable. That's a form of rigging. And I heard it on the authority that the ABC have, trying to rig, have some fake ballot papers. I want Osun people to watch out for that too. And then we don't accept that. We will not accept that in Osun. Right now, as I'm voting right now, just received a call in Modakeke and Obagu that police is aiding them to tear gas them so that people can run away. And people are resolute. They just want to perform their civic duty. Let the security agency please be neutral and watch it. But I can assure you, at the end of the day, I have God on my side and I have my people on my side. So far so good, it's been peaceful. in my area here. I hope it's like that cut across. But it's not peaceful in Modakeke and of course in Obaogo. The police are aiding the APC to checkers people so that they will not vote. The thugs took the ballot box and ran away. So we have already reported this to the security agencies. I hope they do something so that they will not turn Osun State into war zone.
There you have it, the governor of Osun State and the candidate of Accord Party, Senator Ademola Adeleke there, making some allegations about the deployment of police officers as some people of interest whom he has said that they're not supposed to be in the state. But a lot of allegations will be flying around. Is in the early hours of the election, the anticipation, the anxiety is expected because nobody knows how this is going to pan out, and you can well make an assumption, act on what you have heard, react to what you have seen and what you've been told. This is the kind of thing that is expected at these early hours of the day. But I was going to mention earlier that it's going to be the very first time since 1999 that the election will be conducted in January. Okay. I'm seeing a police officer who seems to be getting...
that's a CP election, a typho.
All right. Theophilus, if you can help us grab him so that he can speak to us. No, go grab him and let him come speak to us. Let us know Theophilus, go grab him. Let him come speak with us. But let me quickly introduce to everyone. I've been joined by a former National Commissioner of INEC, a lawyer and a right activist, Mr. Festus Okoye. It's good to see you again, Mr. Okoye.
Thank you so much indeed.
And I have also Mr. Larry Arogunade, who is the Executive Director of IPI. CP election.
National President.
Could you come through with us, please? Come speak with us. Come speak with us, sir. Come and speak with us. All right, let me speak with him quickly. All right. Thank you, CP election. Thank you so much. How is it going, sir?
Going well as planned.
Give us an understanding. We are hearing in Modakeke, somewhere in Ede. What is the situation? Have arrests been made?
The situation is calm. It's just a tricky problem. We are going around CP in all the other departments. We have the commissioner of police. How you doing? We have ADC. We have assistant commissioner of police, including more commanders from different parts of the country in charge of a local government. So there's no way that we cannot get it right.
So Mr. Arale, if you can tell us the allegation by Governor Adeleke that there is an officer of yours from Port Harcourt called London that is in Ede. Can you confirm this for us?
The most important thing you need to know, every police officer has the right to deploy any police officer to anywhere within Nigeria and abroad. So this election is not about a single policeman. It's not about a single policeman. It is about Nigeria.
So you can confirm that the said officer is in Ede.
IG has the right to deploy anybody. Whether it's London or America or IG, as long as that person is a serving policeman, IG will deploy.
What do you say to the situation in Modakeke? What have you heard? What is the situation report there?
The situation that I've heard, I have two commissioner of police in Ede. Yeah.
What about Modakeke?
I'm coming. You asked me a question.
Yes, sir.
This is the problem with you. But wait.
I don't want you to answer your own question. I want you to answer the question that the people of Nigeria would like to.
Let them look at me. I have two seasoned police officers in Ede. Gabriel Eliagu is in Ede, and the other person, Raymond Egokwe. In short, Raymond is the CP INEC in Abuja. That is why we sent him to Ede, because Ede is one of the volatile areas. So Raymond, through the CP INEC, that known all the ethos of INEC, that's why we sent him here. So you can imagine Can that kind of person working with any compromise? Can he? And you know what we are doing? Everywhere is calm. Yes, you know Nigeria normal election there will be big bat here and there. But the most important thing is that at the end of the day, it's going to be a free and fair, transparent and credible election. That I can promise Nigeria.
How many people are in your custody right now?
We have about 100.
In your custody?
Yes, I can get 100 because you know we have to. IG sent me to come and pacify and stabilize the states. So for the past 1 month we've been going on picking them. Some people came from Ekiti, Ondo. You can name all sorts of where just to come and disrupt this election. So we have them, some of them in custody. That I can guarantee Nigerians.
But for today, how many people have you arrested?
For now, none, because there's no reason for it.
Can you give us an understanding?
You said 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
But we are paying you. Nigerian people are paying you. You are speaking to the Nigerian people, sir.
I'm working for Nigeria for the past 32 years.
Yes. And you're doing very well.
Thank you.
So far that we know. But before you go, sir, give us an understanding about the issue of vote buying. And we are hearing, we're seeing this happening. Can you give, what are you doing to ensure?
Have you recorded anyone?
Yes, and we have captured here, somewhere in Ejibo.
The polling booth?
Yes, and money was seen.
I will confirm from the CP Ejibo. Confirm who is the CP Ejibo for me. I will call him.
So you're giving us assurance, no skirmish, no violence. This we go without any kind of violence.
By the special grace of God.
Thank you so much. Mr. Sam Taifo Rally. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The CP elections. Thank you so much. He's been speaking with us right here on Channels Television. So sometimes it might be tough to be able to get them to talk, but then this is a situation that we have. Mr. Okoye, you see those kind of drama that and the allegations back and forth. Yes. But generally, for someone who knows the ins and the outs of INEC, how do you describe the entire process so far?
Well, it's too early to make a generalized comment relating to the process. But from what we have seen so far, it is very, very clear that the presiding officers in most of the polling units were properly trained. Most of them deployed on time and this set up on time. And you can see that in most of the have gone to at least 10 polling units. The process is going on well. There's a lot of enthusiasm amongst the voters and they are ready and willing to exercise their democratic franchise. So I think that if this momentum is sustained, there won't be any problem in the electoral process. But you know, from my own experience, challenges begin to occur around 2 p.m. just before voting closes. But as at now, everything is going on well. And then there's what I call an impressive voter turnout. The people are well organized. The people are orderly. They understand the process and they are conducting themselves in a very good manner.
Do you have the same experience as Mr. Okoye has described from where you have observed so far?
Yes, so this morning I was at the testing ground area of Osogbo, where you have two big polling units, polling unit 6 in Ward 8 and polling unit 30 in the same Ward 8. What I saw was the fact that people had come out quite early, very early, but there were some challenges in those two places in the sense that in polling unit 6, the voters list that was displayed, that was posted where voters would check their names, only had the ones that started with letter A. They didn't have the other ones. But when the presiding officer came, he explained to the voters to the party agents, and this was one good thing I noticed. The party agents were asking questions as to why this was the case, and he then said that they had the complete list with them, and then voters will be able to check. But I guess that may also affect the smoothness, the flow of the voting process, because the idea is that a voter comes, you check the name, and then you come back with your PVC, you are captured by Vivas for accreditation, and then you proceed to voting. Now, in polling unit 30, no list was even displayed at all, and as at 7:50 a.m., the officials had not arrived. But then a councillor who's a community leader did explain that it's because the vehicles had gone back, to pick the other INEC officials. And these are some of the things we raised before the elections. The fact that there should be enough vehicles to move the officials to their respective, polling units. But in those places and others along the road that I visited, including along Bongo Road, close to Adolak Hotel, you saw people out quite early. You can see that enthusiasm, the willingness to vote, which also means that from what we've seen in this area, the fact that you have heavy security deployment, show of force by the security personnel, people still, turn out. There are people too who have to move to other places to cast their votes. So in some of along the road, there was a checkpoint close to that testing ground where they stopped some people who were on bikes, but they were able to show their PVCs. And the moment they showed the security personnel their PVCs, they were allowed, to proceed. So it's still early day yet, like we said. This is what we have seen so far, and we're just talking about the situation, around here. Of course, we do have observers on the field in the 30 local government areas who will be filing the reports as the day goes along, and that would then inform the conclusions that we are likely to arrive at by midday.
Mr. Okoye, yes. Give us an understanding. A few changes since the last time you left INEC. For example, the digital from EC8A.
Yes.
These are some of the new innovations.
Yes.
But are those innovations, and the Electoral Act has been amended since you left.
Yes.
So a lot of things have dramatically changed. But from your observation, this is going to be a litmus test to the 2027 election. Anything INEC wants to do in 2027 in January, they must be trying it out today.
Yes.
So far, what are those changes that you have seen, and are they working?
Well, I think that for me there have been changes and there has been some form of consolidation. Changes in the way voters are registered. Before, when you go to the polling unit to register, you register and then your biometrics are captured. Now you can also register from the comfort of your home, but after registering, you have to go to the RA office, RA, or you go to the local government office to go and capture your biometrics. But now INEC has introduced some changes that enables you to even capture your own biometrics from the comfort of your home. So I think that is a very important change. The issue of downloadable PVCs has also been introduced, and I think that is an important change because if your PVC is lost, if your PVC is defaced, and so on, you can download a PVC and then cast your vote with that. In terms of the beavers, I think that technology is not static. Technology is dynamic. So I think that the technology of the beavers has improved, and INEC must find ways and means of making sure that they improve the technology of the beavers as we move towards the 2027 elections. But one thing that bothers me is that when a court of law makes an order or gives judgment just a week to an election, it completely disrupts the entire electoral process. Some of the ballot papers and some of the sensitive election materials that may be used for the 2027 general elections may not be printed in Nigeria. So we must find a way and means of making sure that when a court makes an order, that order should be made at least a month or 2 months before an election, and thereafter no other order can be made that will affect the electoral process. Because if you give an order 2 days to an election and say add a political party to the ballot, that means the electoral management body has to go back to security printers and begin to print fresh ballot papers, and that is not easy. And then after printing, they have to throw them to the central bank, warehouse them in the central bank before moving them to the local government offices. So I think that there must be a dialogue between the electoral management body, the National Assembly, and the leadership of the judiciary to make sure that orders and judgments are not delivered too close to an election that will disrupt the entire electoral process.
And Sheon, on this point, we also need to say that because of this court judgment, there was a delay in the inspection of election materials at the CBN, because in Ekiti State it took place in the morning. But because of that, because ballot papers had to be reprinted, it didn't happen until late evening on Thursday, and that also meant that the materials, movement of materials to the rack centers took place overnight, arriving at some of the rack centers by 1 a.m., by 4 a.m., although, accompanied by, security personnel. And in some of those places, one of our observers from our team, from our civil society network, they said that they noticed that when the materials arrived, really, it was just an open space, and there was really no security, other than the fact that the people just want this election to happen. They don't want any disruption. So it's very, very important to avoid a situation where judgment or a judgment is given just 2 days to an election. It disrupts the entire process one way or the other, and it can actually affect the confidence of the citizens in this process.
I think that one of the things that can be done is since we don't have too many political parties, is for the electoral management body to print ballot paper with the logo of all the political parties. If a political party is not on the ballot, the votes of that particular political party becomes a wasted vote. So I think that in order to avoid this type of situation, the judiciary, the National Assembly and INEC must be in some level of synergy. But overall, there is the need to have a uniform ballot paper with all the logo of all the political parties to avoid this type of disruption.
Because I imagine that from the case of Rotimi Amechi and several other cases, the courts have established that the human being is not on the ballot. It is a political party that is representational on the ballot. So there is no excuse anyways. If any political party is acknowledged and recognized by INEC, should naturally be on the ballot. Whatever happens then from the courts, we know that it succeeds, just like you have said.
Exactly.
So which allows INEC to be able to plan ahead. But again, a very dangerous precedent is that the courts are continuously setting up governments. The courts are continuously making candidates. The courts are continuously administering political parties. The courts are continuously determining the ballot and determining those who govern us. And I don't think that is the role, constitutionally speaking and democratically. The courts are not supposed to do those kind of duties. You are a senior lawyer.
I think that we must not make the mistake of isolating the judiciary from the matrix of the electoral process. The judiciary is part of the electoral process. Now, the judiciary is static, is dormant, unless people go to it. If you don't file an election petition, the judiciary, the courts are not active. They are not provoked. Now, what is important? What is important in this sense is for the lower courts in Nigeria, although as superior courts, to follow the precedent that has been laid down by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has made it very clear that issues relating to the internal affairs of political parties, their internal affair, and that political parties should be run by political parties, and that the courts cannot micromanage the affairs of political parties. So the lower courts that are handling pre-election matters must bear in mind that they are not supposed to touch the internal affairs of political parties. That is one. The issues they are supposed to deal with are those issues that are recorded in section 285 of the Constitution, where the National Assembly and the Nigerian people defined what is pre-election matter. Those are the issues they are supposed to handle. And also in handling those issues, they must also recognize the fact that there's an electoral management body that has to plan and also plan ahead. So if they disrupt the planning of the electoral management body, it creates its own challenges and it also creates its own dynamics. So when courts are giving order, they should give orders that are very clear, orders that the Nigerian people can also understand, not just orders that the electoral management body can understand, to avoid misrepresentation and also to avoid misinterpretation.
Mr. Ogunade, as we wrap up, give us an understanding. From what you see, there is a polling unit right behind us, and there is another polling unit just outside of the premises.
I saw a very long queue.
There's a very long queue there. And when we were entering earlier, we saw the agitation. We saw the consciousness in some physical and in some people here seems to be well agitated and well activated.
Well, I think it's understandable. Osun election has always been what we call a tight race where you have very close margins in terms of who becomes, the winner.
That's
a winner before then it went to that, and that's why it's also important for every allegation to be quickly investigated. The one that has just come from Ede that you mentioned earlier on, that was in your news about ballot box being snatched. This needs to be urgently looked into. Remember too that in this state we once had an inconclusive election because of what happened in some field, polling units, and a rerun had to be ordered, and it more or less turned quite violent. So everything needs to be done. But what I've seen here is that each voter is willing to exercise his or her right, and they are well informed. Because the moment they see you as an observer, they come to you, they complain, they say, oh, this is what we have seen, we don't know why only certain names are displayed, we don't know why all are not displayed. We're waiting, and you could see that in corners everywhere. Those who had to move some distance to their polling units, you see them moving. So I don't think that the people are really, as citizens, as voters, are playing the role they are supposed to play. The rest now lies with security agencies, with INEC, as they continue to manage this process, especially when we move towards those critical stages around 2 p.m. when voting is concluded, and then the counting of votes starts, and other processes, the collation, and so on and so forth. It's a long day, as you know.
It's a long day.
Every stage really matters. Because what happens in one stage could affect the second, and then can dovetail into the others. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Larry. Ms. Okoye,
yes,
your final one. What do you make of this process? How do you see this going with your experience? If it's going like this and the momentum is maintained, what do you project as the end?
What I project is that the people of these states have decided on their own that their votes must count, and they have come out to exercise their democratic franchise. The security agencies and the security forces must make sure that we don't have a toxic environment as we move towards the end of polling and the collation process. If the security agencies maintain some level of neutrality, everything will turn out well.
All right. Mr. Festus Okoye, a former national commissioner with INEC, a right activist, and a very, very senior lawyer. Thank you so much. It's good to see you again, Mr. Okoye. Thank you so much. And our own very, very good Mr. Larry Arogunade of the IPC, International Press Council Center. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you so much. I've got some new panel to join me in person of Cynthia Mbamalu and Mr. Jekepele. They will be joining me. But in a moment before they join me, let me show you what is left of the queue right here on this on the ballot. So it's understandable that the queues are reducing, and for some reason it's taking a new shape and a new dimension. So you can see how things are panning out. The queues are reducing. It shows that people are getting over and through the process, and in no time we might see these come to an end before 2:30 p.m. 2:30 p.m. is a final day, final hour for the ballot to end, and you can see they're trying to get the accreditation done right here. And once this is done, you know what is next. They go over there and get themselves to cast their ballot. And this is what has gone on from what we have seen so far. And so this is a cubicle where the final point, the end point, the last but one end point, because once this is done right here, they then go over to drop the ballot paper into. The last time around it was empty, but look at it, it's now full. So this is RA Ward Atauja E, code 05, Salvation Army Primary School, PU, that's a polling unit, and 005, polling unit 005. All right, the gentleman is done and is ready to cast his ballot, and that's how it is being. But I mean, it's been a long process, and we've seen quite a lot that happened. But of course, there are more thoughts that we could get from what is going on, and some of those who have gone round in observing this election, Jekepele and Cynthia Mbamalu, will be joining me right now to give their thoughts on what exactly they felt in the election.
to take you up on the other. My sincere apologies, Show. I was hoping to throw something at you the way you were speaking with that policeman. That was a very, very important conversation that you had with him right there. Very, very important and very, very informative one, right there. Okay, I think my colleague is still live.
And Cynthia Mbamalu, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Mr. Repele, can you give us an understanding? Is this election inclusive?
So far, so good. First of all, I want to thank you for what you do. The kind of reportage you bring to elections. The kind of reportage you bring. I was just watching the level of resources that Channel deploys. That's very impressive.
Thank you so much.
In terms of your question, it's also important for you to know that behind you we have a sign language interpreter.
Absolutely.
So has it been inclusive so far? I think my assessment will be based on these few hours going into the election. I'm impressed with the turnout so far, even though my colleague Cynthia says that this is usual for Osun State. I'm also very impressed with the implementation of inclusivity by a few INEC officers that I have spoken to. Seeing persons with disability vote and go is also very impressive. A factual assessment of the situation, you understand, so that he can make an informed decision, but we'll continue to interact.
Absolutely.
The commissioner in charge of election the national commissioner have asked us to come. We're going, but we will continue to report what we see. Balanced reportage is what is needed now. But also, people, you still have a right to come out and vote the candidate of your choice. We don't care who you vote. We care your participation in the process, because that's why and that's how we will have a true democracy.
Let me bring in Cynthia into this. Cynthia, how are you? What have you observed? I know that there is the Yaga PLVT. Give us an understanding. What is the data telling us as to the early deployment of materials by INEC? Are you impressed?
Well,
figures looking good.
Well, I'd say it's a mix of both, and maybe to actually come with one of the major observations we had, and which is the deployment of personnel and security. Ordinarily, the plan or the practice is INEC and security will move from racks to polling units. But a lot of from our observation this morning, there were instances where INEC officials had to move without the police. Police met them at the polling unit. There were instances where police arrived separately from INEC at the polling unit, and that affected some of the opening rates in some polling units, because some locations officials are waiting for the police to arrive before they could move. And so if you ask me about our data actually showed that we had only about 78% of polling units where officials were present as at 8:30, getting ready to commence the polls. We're expecting a lot more, but like I said, this is not necessarily only an INEC official challenge, because what we saw from RAC deployment was the issue of the need waiting for the security to move, because the practice is you move from RACs to your respective polling units. And so it's a call to the Nigerian police for subsequent election. This happened also in Ekiti, where you had officials arrive and waiting for INEC for police to come in. So one polling unit, about two of our polling units, the observers reported that the INEC officials are there, but the crowd is many, so they don't want to start until the police arrives, because they also don't want to don't want to put themselves at risk. And so it's important that for the general elections, the police must deploy from the RAC centers with the officials, the INEC officials, to enable earlier commencement.
What about the early? You're talking about police escorting, but what about the arrival or the start, the activation of the polling unit? What are the figures? What are the
figure we have is that at 8:30 a.m. 78% of polling units. Yes.
But in the accompaniment,
as it started moving to 9 a.m., more polling units open.
Yeah.
But if you want to use 8:30 benchmark, it's 78% of polling units.
Compared to Ekiti,
Ekiti, that's a smaller number because you know in Ekiti.
I'm talking about the percentage in the opening activation of the polling unit.
Actually, Ekiti had more, and that was because Ekiti had earlier arrival. You know, once you arrive early, it's easier to commence early. So the challenge is if you're arriving around 8:30, it means by the time you do your setup and commence, the time would have moved a bit. And so, but you know, the challenge is Ekiti is smaller. Rather, the difference is Ekiti is a smaller state than Osun.
30 local government, 16 in Ekiti.
And you also have terrain-wise and population-wise. And so, we were expecting to have almost the same record in Ekiti that we had here, but we also understand that Ekiti was a smaller state compared to Osun.
Quickly, my question will be, and for us to wrap up, is the fact that this is going to be the final election of cycle before 2027. If by what you were saying and what going by this, do you have any fears, especially about INEC's conduct and preparations?
I think our fears will play out at the end of the exercise, the outcome. Okay. If we see that the outcome is
and tomorrow,
if we see that Rock will not call for a change of result, then we will begin to have more confidence in 2027. But I think it's also important to underpin some of the things that you raise in terms of the difference or playing out in Ekiti and Osun. So we don't forget, in fairness to INEC, they were thrown into crisis. And like I was discussing with my colleague Cynthia, it's a crisis that they would have preempted. INEC should have preempted that this is likely to happen and then print the distance. But at least, so far so good. In fairness, they managed it very well. So let's also put the human error into consideration that it could be the reason why we're having this sluggish deployment and logistic arrangement. I'm not speaking for INEC, but however, we need to be more proactive than the reactive measures that we are taking, you know, in mitigating the
your observation ahead of 2027, if this is anything to go by, do you have any worries?
No, I do have some worries, especially with the beavers. For instance, the polling unit behind us, they had to pause for a while because it logged out the official and it took a while to log in and sync in. Now imagine that is happening in general election on a wider range. And we saw this during the mock accreditation. So for me, for the next election, one thing I think needs to focus functions optimally, especially when it comes to the speed and then the electronic transmission of results, because we are yet to get to 2:30 where you will see a lot more observation on how the BVAS has functioned in uploading results to the IREP, but also the usage of the EEC8A. And so for me, for this election, INEC needs to understand that what we're seeing in Osun, if we have that happening at general elections, it can become problematic. And so they need to ensure that they strengthen their processes and get the technology working well.
Cynthia, thank you so much. I almost called you INEC. One of the leaders of Young Africa, one of the leading election observation group. Cynthia is a lawyer and also a democracy advocate. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
Mr. Jackie Bella, very good. It's good to see you, the only white man in the mix, the inclusive man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for what you do, and please stay safe. We will, and with all your team. Thank you, Channel, for deploying these massive resources just to bring this information to Nigeria.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Thank you so much. And that's what
you pay me for this.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for the endorsement, Mr. Ayola, well, I said Ayola. Yes, Ayola is behind the scene. It's my boss is ringing in my hair. They should return to Lagos. Ayo and Joke is back to you guys.
So I was going to ask you, thank you for not looking down on the policeman, even though you had to be looking up to him. We'll come to that some other time, in our conversation with you. Before we let you go, so far so good, everyone is saying. Is your cautious optimism, has it increased a bit, or is it still cautious?
I think like everyone that we've been saying, it's too early in the day for me to reach the threshold.
We started more than 2 hours ago.
At least, I mean, we still have to wait till 2 o'clock, then wait till when results are being counted, wait till when it gets to Shogbo and all of those bits. So it's still a cautious optimism, and we pray and hope that at the end of the day, we have an election
where everyone, whether observer, voter, would have gone to their bed peacefully without any violence.
Well, Mr. Ede, I got to try this time.
Yes.
The legality of the process is definitely something everyone is applauding right now. And already we are looking forward to January. And as Sean said, it's the first time we're going to be having general elections in January. And so, I don't know, we used to be able to say Happy New Year in January. I guess. we'll come to that some other. But the allegation that has made the round, or rather that is building up, the one from the governor and the one we also saw of some people coming on camp to argue about vote buying, voter inducement. What's your rating of it?
Oh, well, coming from the governor, the chief executive officer of the state, making such serious allegations, I believe is weighty enough for the law enforcement agencies to begin their investigations. The one we saw on video, there was money in the bag, a political party was mentioned, and all that. I don't want to mention it. It's not from my mouth that you hear that the mother of the teacher is a witch, like we say in Yoruba. A party was mentioned. Already, he had just said it's too early in the day and the allegations are already coming in. They are beginning to lay the foundation for election petitions going forward. So we know that, yes, we still have a long haul ahead of us. But after 2 p.m., 2:30, we pray that the votes will properly count. After the votes have been counted, then transfer on the way to Oshogbo, anything can still happen. After Oshogbo, then we've seen it here happen in Nigeria, where after counting the elections at the local level, then there's an order that everything, the results should be announced in Abuja. It had happened before. So all these things do not show us in good light as a country, because this Osun election is a litmus test. Absolutely. The whole world is watching. Especially since it's the last before the general election. By the way, what you're seeing on your screen right now is the candidate of the APC casting his ballot. The process that he's going through right now is the process of casting his vote, and all of that. Of course, more and more of that will go on as we have this conversation. But to the issue that you raised about the allegation of the governor, you also heard the INEC police commissioner there also saying that even they can literally say that the investigation has started, and he's promised to get back on it. But just one more time, Mr. ABC, so here we are now. Voter turnout is increasingly massive and all of that. Before you go, what would be your counsel, and to who?
I think my counsel would be to the good people of Osun State. Voting is your right. If you're inclined to, please go out, vote, and ensure that you do not foment any trouble, so that by the end of today, tomorrow, a winner is declared, and we can all start looking for the dividends of democracy.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. Mr. ABC is the Executive Director at the Nigerian Network of NGOs. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Well, the next conversation is with Emperor Simon, our correspondent, who will be giving us an update right now. Emperor, how's it been?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's going on smoothly. Of course, we're still in Ede, monitoring the process as it continues. And right about now, we are in Ede South. Precisely, we are at units 002, 001, I beg your pardon, here in Ede South, where voting is going on. However, there are pockets of concerns about the functionality of beavers in capturing voters. It appears that the machine is a bit slow. We are tempted to ask some of the election officers, but of course they said they are not mandated to speak on that. But there are few voters who have said that they've been here since the process commenced, and not quite much has been done in terms of voters being able to cast their votes because of the efficiency or the poor efficiency of the beavers machine. But I have some voters here who are in high spirit or on high spirit, and they want to share their experience with me. Yeah, you've been here for how long?
Since 8 o'clock, I'm here. I was here since 8 o'clock.
Since 8 o'clock, and you've not been able to vote. Why? What's happening?
There is no problem. There are so many people here, so it's not my turn.
Okay, but we understand that the machine is also not functioning effectively, which is the reason they've not been able to clear, because we have seen a long queue here with so many people who are waiting.
The machine is very okay. It's working very fast. There is no problem about the machine. Electoral materials are okay. Everything is okay. No problem at all. No fight. Everybody are here for their voting.
All right, thank you very much. Let's also get another voter's perspective. Sir, what's your name?
My name of
Look at the camera.
My name of Suleiman Fakule or Ede South.
Yeah, so how old are you?
Okay. This today. No anybody, no stand, no wahala, no everything, no party. But now here, now woman or man is a good order. Everybody, thank you very much.
All right, how old are you?
Thank you very much.
How old are you? Okay, it's all right. Okay, it's a pretty old man actually, but he's been able to exercise his franchise. Thank you very much. We're grateful. So those are some voters anyway who feel that the process is okay. That's their own view. But I've also heard from some voters who have expressed concern about the process. But we also have observers from the International Association of World Progressive, they call themselves International Association of World Peace Advocates, and we have the team lead here. Let's begin by knowing your name and exactly what you've been able to observe.
My name is Ede South. I'm the team lead of the Peace Association, and we've been to 3 or 4 local government areas, and what we observe is majorly the enthusiasm of the voter to cast his or her vote in these elections. And we have to also, from what we have gotten, I think the commencement of poll also started on time, and that is a credit to INEC, and that has made the atmosphere to be the way it is. It's electrifying, but it's also very peaceful.
Yeah, so earlier on when the incumbent governor Ademola Adeleke exercised his franchise, we observed that the beavers machine couldn't capture him on time, and that's what some voters here have also raised concern about, the functionality of the beavers machine. I don't know if in your observation, in your going round, if you've observed anything about that and what you have to say about the efficiency of the beavers.
Well, from our observation, I think the beavers is functioning effectively. But I remember that in a polling unit we got to where a voter could not be captured, and when we look at we discover that from the explanation of the officials, the beaver, the candidate, the voter did not have dada on his head when it was captured, and now he's coming with dada. So there were attempts to cover the dada by bringing a cap, and the beaver also detected that cap as not part of the original picture. So some of those things were noticed, and that is also good that in going forward, there is need for those who may have captured themselves when they were quite young to also visit the commission again for updating, because you may not have grown beards, you may not have had some of the features you have now when you were captured, and you now come, only the beaver will now look at two different persons. That of the governor I may not really say, but since he was eventually captured, it also means that there may have been some delays in verifying, because the thing is that when your face is presented either visually or through your card, there have to be some verification, and sometimes you have delay in verifying a face, and we are happy that finally the governor was finally verified and captured.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ede, for your observation, and we do appreciate your comments.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. So that's it. We're still here on ground. We're still monitoring, but let's just get some shots of what's happening there as the cameraman tries to bring us how the process is going on. You can see these are voters. If the cameraman can just raise his camera up, you'll be able to see the long queue of voters, spanning several meters away from the voting point. You can also see that some of them have been here. Elderly people, young people, women are also here to exercise their votes. Security personnel are on ground to also ensure that everything goes on smoothly. So we're still in Ede, and particularly, as I said earlier, this is Unit 1 Alajuwe Street in Ede South, with total registered voters of 869 who are here. So we'll bring you more as it goes. Now it's back to you in the studio.
Something exciting that one has had to talk about now, particularly because the election is still very much on ground. We will definitely get back to you, Emperor, as events unfold. Thank you so much for your reporting, and please remain safe. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we have a full panel on this side to give us perspectives, and of course we will be giving you other updates as they evolve. Do stay with us.